Well, hey guys, welcome to day 50 already of Own It as we're reading through the Bible as a church together. And on Sundays, we're reading or we're bringing a message that relates to the upcoming reading. And this week, we preached or shared on Passion of Pain. And you'll be reading Psalms 42 and 43, which will help. But today, I want to focus on something Leviticus. Leviticus is a very difficult book for most people as they're reading it, and because you kind of get lost in the rules, and there seems to be a lot of repeating that's happening. A lot of things are being said over and over again. But as I talked with someone on Saturday about, we have to understand what's going on. This is a people group, a family that is now a nation, and God is setting them up for success. And Leviticus 11 is an example of that. It begins to talk about what are clean and unclean animals. You know, if it chews a cud and a split hoof, and this concept, then it's okay. If not, then it's not okay. A hare and a camel are not. And you begin to wonder. And in fact, Pastor Jen and I, my wife and I, talked this morning about that specifically. And why was the hare such a problem? Rabbits are good eats. For those of you that have had a rabbit before, you kind of know that. For those of you that don't like that, I'm sorry if that hurts your feelings, but they're good eats. And you wonder what's going on, and you kind of read through some of the rules and the regulations. And here's the deal. And this is what blows my mind when I begin to look at the political setup, the government setup that God created for the children of Israel. And then now the dietary restrictions, the things within in that God said, don't eat these things. A hare is a great example of that. The hare, the rabbit that he's talking about. Understand this, that you look and go, well, what's wrong with it? Well, these animals, these hares, are known to actually eat portions of their excrement. I'll use that word. If you don't know what that looks, just Google it. You'll know. You'll figure out what that word means. They are unclean. There's unhealthiness within them. Shellfish, pork. These are all products. Today, we have no problem eating. We know how to handle them safely and to avoid issues. Red tide is a great example of shellfish. We know that. We can test the waters. We can find levels of mercury in things. We know how to do that. But in that day and age, they didn't know that. There wasn't an ability in all these other nations around them that were eating these things, that were partaking in those things, and were not healthy. And yet you look at what God did for the people of Israel. He set up, without the scientific proof, he set up for them a way to be healthy in their eating pattern. Why? Because they were about to go through the desert. They were about to go into a new land. They're into a promised land. And he's setting up this nation. And so when we look at the rules, when we look at Leviticus, when we look at the law, when we look at all that, understand what we're reading God's absolute positive love for his children to make them as healthy as absolutely possible. It wasn't about restricting their foods. It was about making them healthy. Understand that's what God desires to do today with not only our eating, but our relationships and how we live and move and breathe, what we do and how we act and what we allow in our bodies, in our minds, in our eyes, in our ears to hear. God so loves us that he wants us to have the best opportunity to have abundant life, right, on this earth, to live all the days of our lives according to his plan and purpose, because he knows that's the best plan we can have.